Sneaky China. It looks like they may have a plan in place to try to knock out the US dollar as the world reserve currency, and they may be doing it with a gold-backed cryptocurrency. We're going to tell you much more about that story. Also, taking a look at something Stellar did that was absolutely crazy that has made the price skyrocket, and many more stories after this. Hey guys, welcome to BitBoy Crypto, your one-stop shop for all things Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. You can see the list of stories that we're going to be looking at today right beside me. I do want to note that we are going to be doing a $100 contest in my Telegram group. All you got to do is guess what you think the price will be on Thanksgiving Day at 12 p.m. EST. And if you're the closest, you'll win $100 in Bitcoin. So you guess the Bitcoin price. I'm going to close the contest on the Monday before Thanksgiving. So, of course, we're not going to be guessing 2 minutes before the contest is over. So make sure you join the Telegram group. Link will be down below. You can see the link above if you want to just type it in. So let's go ahead and get started with Market Watch. Market Watch. Right now, Bitcoin is coming in at $9,397, up 2.6% over the last 24 hours. We have the total market cap coming in at $252 billion, and Bitcoin dominance at 67%. So let's check out the top gainers of the day. We have Stellar up 17.2%. It's continuing to climb. Bytecoin at 14%, Augur 13.9%, Cosmos 13.5%, and Chili's at 12.1%. I like Chili's, but they always change their menu. Then we look at biggest losers of the day. Lambda continuing on a correction from the other day. Decred, Uchain, iExec, RLC, and KuCoin shares. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Stellar pump here in just a few minutes. But let's move on to the top story of the day. The number one top story of the day. China could be creating its own cryptocurrency, and they could be trying to challenge the US dollar with this. Now, you can find the story on bitboycrypto.com. We're giving away a Ledger Nano S limited edition. You've never even seen one of these puppies. All you got to do is join the Bit Squad, put your email address right here, and you will be entered to win the Ledger. But very interesting what's going on. So recently we had the President Xi Jinping say that he wanted to go all in on blockchain. And a lot of people were really bullish on that. It made the price pump about 8 days ago very significantly. And what does this actually look like? Well, China could be coming out with their own centralized cryptocurrency called the DCEP, or China Coin, as many people are calling it. Now, Max Kaiser, an eccentric Bitcoin maximalist, aren't they all? He actually said he believes that the DCEP, as it's being called, would be backed by gold, and that this could be a big blow against the US dollar. Now, why would it be a blow against the US dollar? Well, basically, if something is backed by gold, then that gives it more protection against inflation, and a lot of people think that this coin could be something that is very attractive to a lot of countries. Now, one thing that's really, really interesting is that China earlier this year bought hundreds of tons of gold. And this makes sense. They haven't officially came out and said this is going to be a gold-backed cryptocurrency. But when you start tying all this in together and looking at the moves that China is making and the fact they bought all this gold, it seems to make sense. Now, this next part is something that I've actually said a lot of different times, which I believe this is how China could really hurt the United States. A situation where China's client states, so countries it works with, have to choose between shortages of manufactured goods and angering the U.S. empire, then they are likely to pivot to whatever trade settlement method China will accept. So basically, what China could be doing here is holding this over other countries' heads in Asia, saying, oh, you want these goods? You're going to have to accept our coin for settlement. And then that could have a domino effect in Asia that could make it where basically the China coin could be used everywhere in Asia, and then it could spread to other parts of the world. So Peter Schiff, a famous gold bug, I hate saying gold bug, it sounds so stupid, but he believes that China, if it is in fact coming out with this gold-backed cryptocurrency, okay, that it will increase the price of gold, but it will also knock down Bitcoin because, as we all believe, the Bitcoin is, well, not all of us, but many of us believe that gold, or the Bitcoin is gold 2.0. Well, this could be an opportunity for people to once again run to gold as a safe haven instead of Bitcoin if a country like China is backing its reserve funds with this new cryptocurrency and not with Bitcoin. So definitely just a very interesting story all the way around. I thought it was very interesting how China had bought all this gold earlier this year. It seems like this could be, could be what it's shaping up for. Now, is this going to actually hurt the price of Bitcoin? I think it could. If we have a digital currency that's being used all over Asia, it certainly could hurt. But there's a lot of things that have to fall in place in order for this to happen. Whereas at this point, I feel like Bitcoin is a safer bet. So if you were to ask me, like, do I think this ultimately will happen? I don't think so, because I think the United States is going to really step up. And I think that we're going to ease regulation so we can get in this battle with China over blockchain and prevent them from doing this. Because if I know that this is China's plan, then hopefully people in our government in America also know. Story number 2. So Stellar has burned half of its supply today. So they destroyed half of all lumens. CEO Danelle Dixon announced this on stage at the Stellar Meridian conference. Previous supply was 105 billion, 20 billion in circulation. Now the supply has shrunk to 50 billion. So this is what Dixon said. She said, "We didn't start by wanting to burn. We asked, what do we need?" Dixon told the room of roughly 200 attendees, "As much as we wanted to use the lumens that we had, it was also very hard to get them into the market." So basically they were nervous about putting all of the lumens they had into the market because it would flood the market. So they basically did the opposite. They burned half the supply in order to make what they already have on the market more valuable. The price shot up 14%. Right now it's up 17%. And you have to think, with them burning half the supply, that this is going to have a huge effect, more than 17%. I would expect to see the price go up very considerably, maybe not completely 2x or double, but definitely I don't think that this pump is over. So, very interesting. We haven't seen any other coin of this size, of market cap, do something, very drastic like this. So we'll have to see what the ultimate result is. But like I said, I think that this is very bullish for Stellar. Story number 3. Okay, so Governor Mark Carney for the Bank of England has proposed a reserve crypto. So this is very interesting, guys. We know there's a lot going on in the UK. It seems like there is a very, kind of like in the United States, there's definitely a push and pull, a battle going on for cryptocurrency. And so Mark Carney has been very bullish on crypto, but I think a lot of people thought maybe that would mean that the Bank of England would want to adopt Bitcoin or Ethereum or something like that. But he has actually proposed that they come up with their own cryptocurrency, their own reserve cryptocurrency, to basically take advantage of this technology without having to give up the control. So we'll have to see exactly what this looks like for the Bank of England. But, do I actually think that they will do this? I'm not sure. But it seems like that this is really getting a big push to kind of come up with some kind of decision on this sooner rather than later. So we definitely will probably be seeing much more about this story in the near future. Story number 4. I guess I just always assumed that people who live in Canada use Binance or Kraken or some of the more reputable exchanges. I'm always surprised when these Canadian exchanges get seized, kind of like we saw with Quadriga CX, and now we're seeing with this new or not new, but this new story with this crypto exchange called Einstein. I've never even heard of these. I don't know where these people find these. This was in Vancouver. So very interesting. Basically, the long and the short of this is that the funds there have been seized. I think there's a good possibility that it is that without those funds, or even with those funds, that the exchange looked like it was insolvent. So definitely a lot to this story when it comes to regulators going in, shutting it down. Where are all of the customers going to get their money? Are they going to be able to get it back? If so, are all the funds available? Are the Canadian regulators going to return it? We just don't have any of those answers right now. But based on what happened earlier this year with Quadriga CX, this is definitely not good for Canada. So Canada's going to really have to do something to step up its regulation of crypto exchanges before it's too late. Like, it would be great if they could catch these problems before the exchanges are insolvent. So coming up in 60 days is the Proof of Keys event, which I was kind of critical of last year, and I'm going to be even more critical of it this year. The whole concept is just kind of dumb to me. Proof of Keys is basically where, not your keys, not your Bitcoin, or not your keys, not your crypto. That's the catchphrase with it. And yes, that applies to what happened in Canada, but why are we doing it for a second year? If everybody last year removed all their money off exchanges, then why do we feel like we need to do that again? I don't get it. I don't understand it. But I do understand the basis for why this is a thing. It's that if you don't own your private keys, it's not your Bitcoin. It's not your cryptocurrency. It's that easy. If you're a trader, you need exchanges. And so you're going to keep your trading amount on the exchange. Is that safe? No. Do traders understand that? Yes. The people that we really need to preach this to are the hodlers, the people that are not trading, the people that there's literally no reason for them to have their crypto on an exchange once they buy it. So I think that's more of the message that we should be sending out. I don't think it's like, hey, on this day, let's remove all the crypto from the exchanges. I don't even think we're not going to be able to move enough crypto off to make a difference, in my opinion. So I think that this is more of a message that we should teach every day of the year, not one day of the year. And I understand, I'm not being critical of the guy who came up with this, Trace Meyer. I mean, obviously, this is something he's very passionate about. I'm not trying to dog the event. I'm not trying to say it's not a good thing. It's catchy, it's trendy, it's a little novelty here. But I think that we should just be giving good education about, where to store your crypto. And I think we also have to understand that for new people that come into cryptocurrency, they're going to look for things that are more convenient. They're going to put their money on Coinbase. They're going to store it on Coinbase. I don't think the goal is to teach these people immediately when they come in, this is the best practice, this is what you do. We need to bring them into the space. And then if they are interested, they will journey further down the rabbit hole and they will find these things out for themselves. So that's kind of my take on all this. But the point here is that with this Canadian exchange basically going kerplunk and people losing their money, it is very important to understand that you don't own your crypto if it's on an exchange. Story number 5. All right, IOST co-founder Terrence Wang, aka Terry, he was on with the Asia Blockchain Review recently, and he had some interesting stuff to say. I wanted to basically go over some of the things he said. He talked a little bit about the vision of IOST. He said it's simple, to be the backbone of the new digital economy built on the blockchain. One day the world will be on the blockchain, and we want to play a pivotal role in making this happen. So I thought that was good for like the overall vision of IOST. And I do feel like that Terry is kind of becoming more of the face of IOST. I've seen him out. Haven't really seen Jimmy Zong, make any appearances lately. So I think that really when it comes to the direction of this project, I think that Terry is the person we should be listening to. So there was something very interesting they said about sharding. So a lot of people think that sharding is this mythical thing that can't happen. But the fact is, it is very difficult. And this was something that was the focus of IOST earlier this year. But unfortunately, it did not get, they had to basically push it back because it's so difficult to get done. So this is what he had to say about sharding. As a technology, it's not new, and research on sharding has been carried out for decades. We've actually achieved speeds of 8,000 transactions per second using the POB, or proof of believability consensus mechanism, with some sharding. Our R&D on efficient distributed sharding is ongoing, and we expect it to play an important role in scaling the IOST network towards 100,000 transactions per second. So the long and short of it here is they're still looking at it. They're still researching. They're still developing sharding. As you can see, our R&D on efficient distributed sharding is ongoing. So not really an update other than they're still continuing to look at it. So Blue Hill Foundation was a capital fund. I believe it's a capital fund. Whatever it is, they gave IOST $50 million. Now, what are they using the $50 million on? dApps and devs. It says we invest in protocols and dApps, but when it talks about the dApps, what they're trying to say is they're trying to have budgets to bring some of the best devs over to IOST. So I thought that was really interesting news. The focus of IOST right now is on the dApp space, and I think that's why we haven't seen the same level of development with the actual blockchain itself, because they're all about the dApps right now. So definitely we'll have to see how this continues to move on. I think I'm going to have somebody from an IOST dApp on my show pretty soon, so you guys make sure to stay tuned for that. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. That's all we got for today. BitBoy out.